you tell us why you're in a yellow jumpsuit?
Because when I had got extradited here from New York, car in front of you, car in back of you, and it's just a lot. So when they had took me to the hospital, it was only one officer with no firearm, and it was no escort, nothing. So when I was like, no, I didn't mean nothing bad. I was just trying to say that from coming from New York point of view and over here, yeah, security thing is crazy because I'm used to like certain they're making a big deal and shutting off the highways and they
So,
shut off
Mr.
the
Bracero, you saw an opportunity where you could leave. You were expressing to your.
Okay, so we are about to watch his parole hearing. As you can see, he's now outside in the yellow jumpsuit. This whole procedure where he was caught on camera taking the yellow jumpsuit off, I happened to catch on camera, so I thought I'd take a blast back in the past so you can watch it happen before we jump into his parole hearing. But in short, you don't want to take a parole hearing in a yellow jumpsuit. He's under higher protection, lockdown. He was accused of trying to escape. So as you can see, his first attempt is to see if he can get away with it, take off the yellow jumpsuit and go in. And I wanted to share this aspect with you. It actually lasts quite a while, so we'll put it on 2x speed while we talk a little bit about this case before we jump in. And we're going to start from the beginning. But as I'm talking, you can see a little bit of the UCs peeking through right there. I felt that it was important enough to share, and I didn't know where to share, so that's why I'm going into this. But we're going to go through a little bit of his crimes while we watch this kind of comedic, I think, sequence play out, and then we're going to start his hearing. But he was sentenced to a maximum of 10 years, and he was doing a lot of home invasions. He also gets into this side where he won a lawsuit of like $450,000, like when he was 19, and then how he blew through that money in just a couple of months. Got into the lifestyle of having money. It really is just an absolute wild interview. Again, you can see here where he tries to come back in, but he's asked eventually to leave and put his uniform back on. So it was not a good start. And we'll just have to see how the board reacts. We never know with Connecticut. So with that, let's jump in.
378-949.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration for provocation for Israel Bracero, 378-949. He's serving 10 years for home invasion, 3 counts of burglary, third and larceny first. As of today, records reflect the eligibility date of May 19, 2023. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender and a review to show the offender has completed the following programs: Med Assist Treatment Program, utilizing statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system scores. Offenders overall score for recidivism falls in the high range. This is your opportunity to express the should be granted parole. You may begin.
Mr. Bracero, did you hear?
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
tell us why you should be granted parole?
Because I feel like I'm not the same I say same individual I was prior to being incarcerated. I learned I learned how to basically not take things for granted and not to work basically for the things that I need in life and how to be humble myself. Basically be a better person. And I feel like I changed from how I used to be prior to coming here. I feel like I'm a different person. And plus, my mom is on dialysis. She's at that age, and I'm trying to be there for her for the last couple of months or a year or whatever time she had left. So I'm trying to make it home to her.
Are you all done?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for your opening comments. Can you tell us why you're in a yellow jumpsuit?
Because when I had got extradited here from New York, they had me in the prison Corrigan. And at Corrigan I had chest pain 'cause I had open heart surgery and I had chest pain. And they had took me to, I believe it was Bridgeport Hospital. It was a hospital that had to, I think it was Bridgeport or Stanford Hospital. It was I don't know too much about Connecticut because I'm from New York, but it was a hospital from around here, I believe. And when they had took me to the hospital, the officers that were escorting me, they didn't have like weapons, and it wasn't like how I'm used to in New York. In New York, when you go to hospital, CERT takes you and they take you fully armed, and it's car in front of you, car in back of you, and it's just a lot. So when they had took me to the hospital, it was only one officer with no firearm, and it was no escort, nothing. So when I went to the hospital, when I came back to my cell, I told my brother, and then I was writing my brother in the letter, and I had told him, I was like, it's crazy. I never said nothing about escape and nothing like that. I just said it's crazy that I had random chest complication, and they just took me to the hospital today, and it's crazy because how they security over here is not like New York, you know. And the person was like really dangerous, something he could have had escaped because they didn't have no fire. It was nobody following us, nothing, and it was like it was crazy. So the officers that came the next day, they were like, "But sir, what was the content of this letter about?" I was like, "No, I didn't mean nothing bad. I was just trying to say that from coming from New York point of view and over here, yeah, security thing is crazy because I'm used to like certain they're making a big deal and shutting off the highways and they shut off
Mr.
the."
Bracero, you saw an opportunity where you could leave. You were expressing to your brother that there was no security.
I didn't say nothing about it. I just said that it was crazy
So
how
why? Okay.
how the
So
security measure was, and it was. I said I was like, if a person was crazy and had a lot of time and they wanted to escape, I think they could have got away because it was the guy was sleeping and he was not even paying mind. So then they came and gave me a ticket, and I explained it. They're like, no, but so we understand. You just can't write stuff like that. I was like, yeah, but don't put me on a yellow jumper. Don't write me a ticket because I didn't mean nothing. He's like, no, but sir, just we understand what you were saying about coming from New York and over here, but through the captain's point of view and all these people, they just want to put you in a yellow jumper and all that. But that's gonna make me look like a crazy person. They're like, yeah, but it's something that
so
because
you're
you
a high
already,
risk security.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But I
All
never
right.
tried to escape. I never did nothing. I was just writing. I was expressing something, and I should have never even wrote that. I don't even. This was 2014 that I had wrote that to my brother in a letter, but I never said nothing about escaping and nothing like that.
Okay. So you said you never had a job.
No, never. I volunteered when I was young. I was in a juvenile facility in New York, and I had took my certification for CPR and first aid, and I took my lifeguard certification, and I passed it. And I was gonna do underwater welding, but at that time when I came out, it was just a lot going on. I had ran into a big lawsuit, and I wasted $400,000 like in 2 months. And my mindset was just
Well, wait a
different.
minute. What did you do with it?
Give it all away. They gave me 20,000, 20,000, 30,000, 20,000, 20,000. Bought jewelry, bought clothes.
So you say that you're always looking for fast money. So
That's
you do home invasion with a dangerous weapon. You have 3 counts of burglary and larceny first. It never occurred to you at any time that you could get a job?
Yeah, I had off the book jobs before, like clothing stores and stuff like that, but never paycheck with pay stubs and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm
So,
not expecting to, but you know, I was at the age I was only 17 years old, so running to 480,000 and wasting that in 2 months, my it was just different. I didn't, and then where I'm from, the area that I was from is real crime area, a lot of drugs. I'm from the South Bronx, so that's where I grew up my whole life. So it was just a lot of going on, and I was used to always having money. So and I was used to giving away money, and then I didn't have nothing to give away. So at that age, at a young age, I met some kids that would burglarize and things, and then I ran into. One time I had did a burglary, and I found some high end watches, some it was name brand watches.
Mr. Bracero, you keep saying, when you were young, you're 41 years old now. How long have you been incarcerated?
Incarcerated for already 14 and a half years.
14 and a half years straight.
Yes, ma'am.
So you haven't taken any program. You
I just
completed
got
the
over.
math. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I just came to the state, and I'm trying to put down for. I've been trying. I've been writing requests and requests every day saying that being out of my high security, I can't go to school, I can't get a job, I can't get a trade. I tell them, I'm like, listen, I'm going to parole board, I'm going home, so I need a trade, something to show the parole. They were like, yeah, for sure, we're doing the yellow jumper. I was like, yeah, but I'm in the yellow jumper for something that a content that I wrote that was just like a joke mainly, but it was nothing serious. And I was like, I need to get a trading or something. And no, Michelle, you're right, because you were supposed to go to your parole board a year ago, and then they postponed, and you just came to the state, and they keep on giving me the runaround. So I'm trying to get a trading or a job, but it's it's not it's not going through. I don't know. They keep on saying, yeah, yeah, when you get off the yellow jumper, and then we put you in a waiting list. But I tried. And I just came to this day in May. So
Yeah. So one of the things that you said is that you don't care about the burglaries. You just need money to support other people. Who are the other people that you have to support?
I didn't say nothing about. See the way he miswrote that. I didn't mean that. I didn't care about it. I didn't say that I didn't care because I do care because maybe when I was young I didn't care, but now I do care because now not only because I invaded somebody's privacy, because that could put a toll on somebody. I understand that I do care, but the all right. When I was young, my girlfriend, I left her for 1 second and I came back and I found out somebody raped and killed them. And I don't like people who hurt women or have cases like that. Not that I'm a target and nothing like that. It's just that it's something that it it, it, it dwelled on me, and I suffer from mental disorder because of that panic attacks and everything. So growing up, I lived in the Bronx, so there's a lot of strip clubs and girls prostituting. So I used to be like, yo, listen, don't do that. Don't do that because look at Oxygen, look at True Crime TV, look at this, look at that. Oh, I even
Mr.
show them
Bracero, I'm going to stop you there because it's about you,
I know.
not other people.
I gave the money away while I was giving money away. So I was
Okay.
trying to give money
So
to.
you need to change your life.
Yes.
What is it that you need to do in order to change your life?
Um, Basically find a good job and do something constructive that's gonna keep me in the positive and stay away from bad individuals or my past friends and just be there for my mom and be there for my kids and my grandkids.
How many
I don't
children do
have
you have?
I have 2 boys.
You have, but they're adults, right?
That's one
How
is
old
20,
are they?
22 and 19.
Yeah, so they're, they're young adults. So are you financially responsible for supporting them?
No, right now, no, because I'm here. But my family tries to take it. They work, but when I do go home, either parole or whatever they max me out, whatever, I have people that well, I got a brother. He cuts down trees in Florida and builds ground swimming pools, and then I got another brother. He's like a supervisor in the post office at UPS, and he got a job waiting for me there. And then I got another job, you know, it's like a water park in Pennsylvania, and then I got another job in Long Island that they do underwater welding. So
Yeah, but
I
Mr.
got
Bracero, wait,
yes, ma'am.
you said you want to learn the welding trade.
Yes,
So, you're talking about like 3 or 4 different things that you want to do when you go out. You have to focus on where you're going to go, and wherever you go, what's going to be available at that place. You can't be talking about Florida, Pennsylvania, and wherever else.
no, the reason I say that because I don't know what you guys' decision is, and I don't know what's gonna be because no, because I don't know if you guys know, but I have 5 years parole in New York and I got 5 years parole in Pennsylvania. So if I get released from here, I'm gonna be on parole with you guys to November, and then once November comes, I gotta check in New York or Pennsylvania, or so what I'm planning on doing if God forbid, yeah, guys don't max me out. But if I do max out, I'm gonna get my parole transfer to Florida and I think I'm gonna do the underwater welding and build swimming pools over there because my brother's making a lot of money doing that, cutting down trees, and it's just something outside swimming and something nice.
So you have 2 parole, one in New York and one in Pennsylvania, but you want to go to Florida.
I'm gonna get it because look, I got 10 years, 4 to 9 in Pennsylvania with 5 years in Pennsylvania running concurrent. And then I got 12 years in New York and 10 years in New York running concurrent. And over here, I believe I got 10 years and 5 and 5 running concurrent, all consolidated with a IAD packet. So I'm running all this time is running concurrent, but I was doing the time in New York because New York had ownership of me. So then I maxed out all of New York, and then Connecticut picked me up. Pennsylvania said they don't even want me. That they're good. They don't even
But
want me
you're
over there.
still going to have 5 years of parole with them.
But it's concurrent with New York. So I could do it in either New York or PA. Or I could get it extradited to Florida and do it in Florida.
When the parole officer spoke to you, Mr. Bracero, you said you wanted to go to your mother in Pennsylvania.
Yes. Once I come out, I'm going to go to Pennsylvania with my mom.
So now you're changing, you want to go to Florida?
My mom is going with me. I'm taking her with me. Once I come home, I'm going to Pennsylvania. I'm going to stay in Pennsylvania for 2 years, working in the post office thing, building my credit and basically saving.
You're guaranteed a job at post office in Pennsylvania?
Yes,
Which post office?
in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
Where?
UPS. Stroudsburg is in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. It's a UPS post office service. It's just unloading and loading trucks. You get $100 for each truck you load, and then overtime you get. It just is you make money over loading trucks basically, and it's good benefits. They get health benefits. Stuff
You know,
like that.
Mr. Bracero, there's a reason why they gave you a flat sentence. You have such an extensive criminal history, and you know, you did New York, and now you're here in Connecticut. You haven't been able to do any programs, but you've received several DRs. Your last DR was August of last year for fighting.
Yeah, they had me in Hartford County, and I didn't know. I don't look for problems. I know there's no excuse for fighting or whatever. It was actually not even a fight. It was just basically pushing somebody away and on camera. Because the guy was there talking and getting riled up, and I mushed him like, "Get away from me!" And then that's it. And then they came and they were like, "So what happened?" I was like, "No, you seen the camera? You see this guy coming close to me? He's gonna hit me. Well, yeah, I'm not gonna let him hit me." So they were like, "Yeah, just come on, we gotta take you out there." But it was not that I was looking for problems or.
Um, Ms. Becerra, I'm at a loss as to what to do with you today. Because your criminal history is such that you're kind of all over the place. Did you ever have to pay for any of the jewelry that you stole?
No, they didn't tell me I have to pay restitution.
They didn't.
That was part of the plea deal.
Yeah, this is, but the bottom line is, you have to get some kind of trade.
Yes, I'm gonna
And
no. Once I get out, I already got it set up for me to do underwater welding training and
Okay. All right,
I'll do
I'm all
some
set.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you for answering my questions, Mr. Dorgan.
I don't have any follow-up questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Cole?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm somewhat concerned and would like, in this particular case, would like an opportunity to talk to Mr. Bersario off the record.
Okay. So I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of discussing confidential inmate information. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Becerra, we're going to go off the record to have a conversation with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you call the CO in for us, please?
Right now?
Yeah. call it in.
It's Feliciano.
Yes, how can I help you? Hi, we're gonna have you disconnect and then call you back directly so the board can speak to him off of the live stream. Okay. So if you just push the red button to hang up, and then in a few seconds, you'll get a new prompt and just hit accept.
Why didn't they want to talk to you off the record then? It shows they're calling you back.
Yeah, she said that they're gonna call back.
So, are you live? But your mic.
Hi, you reconnected to the public meeting. So I have to have you hang up again and then wait for the button that says accept to appear on screen. You're muted. Can you hear me? It's going to be on the tablet for the TV. So if you press the red button on the tablet to hang up and then just wait for a few seconds, you're going to get a new pop-up and it'll say accept. You just have to hang up first. Do you see the red phone button to hang up? I can't hear you because you're still muted, but if you press the red button to hang up, and we'll call you right back.
I haven't been in years. I don't even know how to mess with the phone.
Oh, I don't know. So now it's muted?
I'm muted. You can hear? Oh yeah, now it's unmuted. Look.
Okay, so Mr. Becerra, we're back on the record, so we're gonna discuss your case. You can listen but not say anything. Okay? So, Mr. Becerra, has an extensive criminal history in, I don't know, several states. And I know we just inherited him from New York. And he has not been able to complete any program except the MAT program. But in the meanwhile, he has received several serious DRs, which I have extreme concern about. And I understand that he has some other, mental health issues that he's taken care of, and he's in control of it. The time between now and his EOS date is 6 months. But I think based on the nature of his offense and his criminal history, that I do not think Mr. Becerra is appropriate to go out into the community at this time. So I would like to deny, knowing that you will either end up with interstate New York or Pennsylvania.
Yeah, well, I haven't grown any sentence, just the number of DRs. When we asked him why he was in the yellow jumpsuit, he explained about that. But what's concerning is the Googling of the $1 million homes and then looking at the $4 million homes and then going into one of those homes not hurting the woman, but putting her on the floor, I wasn't gonna hurt her. It's too much for me to overcome. I have nature and circumstance current offense as one reason, along with evidence of offender change, program participation, and poor institutional adjustment.
I just had nature and circumstance, criminal history, and poor institutional adjustment.
Okay,
I just, I concerns, obviously. My concerns were addressed off the record because I had to deal with personal information. It's protected by HIPAA.
okay. So in the case of Israel Becerra, inmate number 378949, there is a motion to deny request for discretionary parole for these reasons: nature and circumstances of the current offense, criminal history, and poor institutional adjustment. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Okay, Mr. Becerra. Best of luck.
I said leave, right?
This is done. For the conference, 7894.
Thank you.
So what they so basically I'm maxing out. So I go home in November now, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Well, that was as wild a hearing as I thought we'd get. It's quite funny that he ends it off with "Happy Valentine's." I mean, the guy is, wow. They make him different on the East Coast, that's for sure. It's. I mean, who would have thought he has? First, he's at Rikers. Then he does a 14 and a half years. Well, no, he's been locked up 14 and a half years. So he's just finishing up a 10-year sentence in Connecticut. And he somehow managed not to get parole in Connecticut. You know you're doing something wrong. So I guess he did 4.5 years in Rutgers. He is now sent to Connecticut. And then in theory, he has to go to Pennsylvania. He claims they don't want him, but who knows? We'll go over his crimes. It was something interesting. One of the board members mentioned at the end how he was concerned. He Googled $1 million homes and then decided to go to the $4 million homes. And I mean, so his full term, he's getting out, like they said. Anyways, his full term date is November 18, 2024. He's done. He's been locked up since 5/29/2015. And again, you show up to a parole hearing being like the maximum security unit in the jumpsuit that he tried to hide at the beginning. And he starts off with the story about winning 480 grand when he's 17, but blowing through it in 2 months, 20 grand here, 30 grand there. And then he tries to help people, the strip clubs and it's like, what are you like? Can you legit have done nothing with your time? And that's up there with a really bad interview. And it's kind of funny how the board's like entertaining it. And they didn't really, they don't do the same thing that Louisiana does. They don't talk about, tell us what happened. It seems it was a home invasion where there was the wife, the mother, the woman, the homeowner was there. I guess we don't have the details on who she was, but that he put her on this was, I don't think that it goes into the details on what we have, but so this was written in 2014, updated in 2021, which is quite interesting. A New York convict was arraigned early Tuesday after he was extradited to Berks County to be prosecuted in a 2011 burglary. He was 31 at the time, was picked up at Auburn Correctional Facility in New York on Monday night by deputy sheriffs and transported to Berks. He was committed to the county prison in lieu of $10,000 bail following arraignment before Senior District Judge Gloria in Reading Central Court on burglary-related charges. He will be returned to Auburn to complete his prison sentence after Burke's case is finished, prosecutor said. The Burke's charges were filed by the police criminal investigator David Yo and Spring Township Police Detective Robert Lang, both of whom were also certified county detectives at that time. Okay, get to the point, guys. At about 10:35 a.m. on February 7, 2011, here we go. So he rang the doorbell of a home in 300 block Foss Road several times and pounded on the door. The homeowner ran to the bathroom and called 911. So Brasirio and two other men kicked in the front door and went inside. They left without taking anything after discovering the homeowner was inside, so they didn't know the homeowner was there. Several months later, and that can you imagine how scary that is? To have three men break down your door and you're hiding in the bathroom. Even though they left right away, just the trauma that causes. Several months later, and they're in Connecticut, right? So chances are you don't have you have a baseball bat to defend yourself, right? Was identified as a person of interest in several Berks County burglaries, as well as burglaries in Greenwich, Connecticut. Court records do not list the other burglaries. In September 2011, Long State Police Trooper Detective Greenwich Police interview Brasirio at Rikers Island Complex in New York City, where he was incarcerated on other charges. Brasirio has shown photographs of the exterior and interior of the Foss Road house, and he recognized it, noting it was surrounded by a large field. He admitted taking part in the break-in with two other men whom he refused to identify. Why would, it's always funny. It's funny how easy some of these folks confess. And I guess you see him. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. But imagine if like detectives show up to your jail and to Rikers in Connecticut, and it's like, hey, do you recognize this house? Did you break in there? Do you want more charges? Yes, I do recognize that house. I broke in. Like, what did they have to give him? Like a soda to get him to do that? They brought him some McDonald's. I mean, like, real what? They drove to and from the home in blue Dodge Charger with a Connecticut license plate. As they fled the home, they passed a police car heading to the house. Detectives filed charges in Frost burglary in January 2012. No one else had been charged. And then we have, so this was written on April 30th and updated August 19th. This is written a little bit later, but I don't think there's not much in here. Kind of the same thing. Let's see. It's a little different. Officers were, and thank you, Richard, for providing this. Okay. So yeah, it is different. So January 18, 2011, a resident of the condominium complex contacted police to detail what he suspected was potential burglary at the apartment upstairs, reporting allegedly her knocking and significant movement. And when he peered out of the peephole of his door, he saw two Hispanic men carrying large items and loading them into a blue Dodge Charger outside. The door to the upstairs condo had been forced open, police said. It's a little hard to see this, right? I just realized. As he took out his garbage, the witness caught a glimpse of the Charger, Connecticut plates, and reported what he saw to police. When police arrived, they found the condominium clearly ransacked with missing jewelry and electronics at $27,000. What a heist, huh? Officers later tracked the plates of the blue Charger to Waterbury resident, but Waterbury police cannot locate. I mean, he was Googling $4 million homes. I guess you'll have big scores there. Reading police later told investigators that the car was frequently seen around high crime areas in the city and that it was part of an ongoing unspecified local case. Spring Township officers attested to the car being present at the scene of several burglaries. And then they revealed that they had cited the car once for being given a ticket to a man by the name of Lester Oscar de Jesus. The name police later discovered was an alias for our friend Israel Brasario, who had developed close ties with reading area pawn shops where he frequently sold jewelry. In September 2011, police tracked down and interviewed him, who was then incarcerated at Rikers Island for assault with a deadly weapon, as well as third-degree burglary. After being shown pictures of homes he reportedly burglarized in Greenwich, he told investigators detail about each of the thefts. Yeah, I'm gonna get just the full confession. So he told Greenwich officers he had sold the jewelry netted in the Old Kings Highway incident home to some Albanian kids outside a coin store in New Haven. He refused to identify his accomplices, however. He was extradited to Pennsylvania, where he pled guilty to burglary in that township and was sentenced to 49 years. I wonder if... Anyway, so here's one more... Here's one more thing that Richard found, which is quite interesting. So it shows his violent side, I would say. So it's about a court case of someone who's was attacked by his roomie. So, and he's suing. I think he's suing the prison. It's not 100% clear to me, but we'll get to why. So on June 7, 2014, now this isn't who we just watched, but they bring him up in here as to reason why the fighting happened. So on June 27, 2014, Alexis, the victim, and were cellmates. Appellant attacked the victim, pulling him off the top bunk of the bed with a length of material. There was an ongoing struggle. The injuries suffered by the victim were a closed fracture of the nose and nasal bone, ligature marks around his neck, a black eye, broken teeth, and scratches. So these are the fights that we don't seem to hear that much about, really, when we do these things, but I guess they're happening. And Pennsylvania state trooper investigated the incident, and the appellant told him that he was defending himself against a sexual assault by the victim. So the attacker claimed to the state trooper that he was getting attacked by the victim. The appellant, though, I guess wasn't believed and was charged with attempted homicide, aggravated assault, and simple assault. So he earned a real nice charge. The case proceeded to a jury trial on June 9, 2015, and the appellant was represented by an attorney. The Commonwealth theory of the case was that the appellant attacked the victim in retaliation for an incident between the victim and another inmate, our dear friend, Bersario. So they claimed that it was a retaliation because they said that Bersario stabbed the victim with a shank. So this guy apparently is getting beaten bad. I mean, he's stabbed by our sweetheart Bersario with a shank. And then the victim, I guess, made the mistake of ratting. He told his wife to call the prison to report the shank. And the shank was found in Bersario's cell 1 or 2 days after the incident. So this was retaliation for his buddy, who was his roommate. I mean, they put him up to this. You gotta, he's a snitch. That's the crazy thing about prisons, right? We don't see these things happening in Louisiana. I have no doubt that they do, though. We just haven't really read about it. But here it is in Connecticut that we're reading about shanks and retaliation and serious, celly on celly assaults. The Commonwealth first called the victim who testified he was in his bunk bed with his eyes closed. Appellant pulled the victim down, choked his neck with the. Whenever I read this stuff, I think of our Jesse. Yeah, buddy. I don't know how you handled it, man. I can't, gosh, it's like so many of you in the chat have had experiences like this, and I really appreciate you being involved in the Mandalorian community. We can learn so much from you guys. It's, I don't know, is it something you just, once you're in the situation, you figure out how to handle yourself? It's like live or die? Or I feel like if I found myself in a situation, I would just say, get me into solitary. I'll live out my time in a, but I know it's not so simple. I don't know. So the appellant pulled the victim down, choked his neck with a sheet torn into strips, and repeatedly said that snitches have to die. The victim was able to get away and asked why the appellant was doing this. The appellant laughed and said he was playing, but all of a sudden he pinned the victim against the wall and started choking him. The two wrestled while the appellant continued to use the sheet to choke the victim. The sheet moved towards the victim's mouth, injuring his tooth. The attack lasted 40 minutes. I mean, he was fighting for his life. Can you imagine fighting for your life for 40 minutes? Well, to put it into context, right? Professional boxers who are elite athletes, in the best, probably in the best physical shape of most people in the world, they do 10 rounds at 3 minutes apiece, if they do all 10 rounds, and they get breaks. I don't, that's just, the door to the cell opened and the victim immediately ran out to the officers. Correction officers who was on duty at the prison at the time of the incident testified that at 6:15 at 8 p.m., he unlocked the cell doors in the J block for the inmates' recreation. He did not see what was going on. In the victim's cell, before he unlocked the doors, about 10 seconds after unlocking the doors, the victim rapidly approached the officer's desk and said, "I want off this block. I want protective custody." Yeah, exactly. My cellie tried to kill me. The victim had marks on his neck, a lot of blood from his mouth, swelling on his face, a lot of laceration scratches on his neck. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube stuff from people in prison, and 23 and 1 is a channel I watch for a lot of insight. I don't know if you've heard of him. I like his channel. But he says you can't ask for protective custody. You're kind of screwed. Your reputation's cemented once you do that, if people find out about it. But I mean, at this point, his reputation was already screwed. Sergeant Catherine Krulak testified that she investigates allegations, including the incident at the prison anti-jury trial. To appeal his appeal, we note that the following examination in Commonwealth as to when the shank was found in Priscilla's cell. So, I'm not going to finish all of it. That was pretty intense. I didn't expect to read that much of it, but I got sucked into the story. Kind of scary to think that if he doesn't go to more time in Pennsylvania, that he'll be out, because it's just, is he really going to stay out type of thing? He got busted in that lie where he said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go to Florida." And they're like, "You can't go to Florida." Or the idea of, so much has happened, I forgot to even talk about it, but the idea that why he's in that jumpsuit, why they said that he was attempting escape. And, it wasn't clear when that incident happened. Was it just 6 months ago? Did it happen 5 years ago? Maybe they said it. I didn't catch when it happened, but I guess he got put in that. It could be because of his prior history with the shanking and everything, that they just keep him as a high max prisoner, and they're not in any rush to take him out of it. I'm sure he has other reasons why they do it, but it was interesting seeing him try to sneak away by taking it off. That really would have helped. They wouldn't have known. And then his story about how in Connecticut, it's real easy. I could just escape. And, and if it's true what he's saying, That's scary. I mean, kind of doesn't surprise me, but at the same time, it does, because who escorts dangerous prisoners? It seemed like there were multiple of them with one unarmed guard. Someone might want to take a look at that. And then the question is, did the story happen the way he portrayed it? That, oh, I just wrote my brother and I mentioned it as a story, not that I wanted to escape. And I also can believe that happening, but I also don't. Just, this guy has, I think, pretty much zero credibility when it comes to truth talking, in my opinion. But tell me what you think about these Connecticut parole hearings. Some of them are, they're just different. There's something different about them. I certainly prefer to see the parole board members. We don't see that, but I have done a couple hearings where I reviewed their profiles and showed you what they look like. But thank you, Richard, again. And with that, I'll let you go.